Good afternoon, everybody. It's New Jersey Garden. I wanted to do a video today showing you my seed starting setup in our basement. We've got a really old house and an old basement, but it's a nice place to start my flowers. I'm starting them, it's now late March. I generally start them in March just because I have found that if I start them in February, the seedlings are all ready to get transplanted out in early May, and at that point it's usually very windy or there's still some frost lingering, and it's just too cold to transplant out really until late May. So I started moving the date to when I start my seeds to later in March. So I just started these yesterday, and I'm trying a new type of seed tray this year, but generally I just buy the Jiffy seed trays that you find at Home Depot or Lowe's. They're about $5 or $6, and you fill them with seed starting mix, and I'll show that at the end of the video, what kind of mix I use. At one point, when I first started out, I used potting soil, and that would work maybe for things like sunflower seeds or zinnias, but for delicate seeds, it's better to use like a soilless mix of just perlite, peat moss and vermiculite, and maybe some sand, which is generally what the main ingredients are of a seed starting mix. So I would recommend not using a potting mix and just use seed starting mix for your seeds. It's just a more sterile environment, and just I've had a lot more luck using that. I've had better germination rates. So here we have, I think there's 72 compartments in each large tray, smaller trays on top. I'll just show what it looks like. So the camera's not very clear here, but you can see that there's a bottom tray, and then there's these two separate cell container. So again, I got everything at Home Depot or Lowe's, and it was very affordable. I know they have these kits at probably at Harris Seeds. I think they have a set up there, and it's pretty expensive. So all I did was I bought these shop lights, and I think there's 32 watts per bulb, and there's two. I'm sorry for the shaky camera. I'm trying to do this all on my own, showing you guys everything without putting the camera down. But there's two bulbs per shop light, and these are all really inexpensive. And these are just chains that I have holding them with an S-hook. So the ideal S-hook would be, I'll try to show you a better S-hook, because these S-hooks really weren't the right size for what here. This one here properly supports this light fixture, and this S-hook in the back is a little thicker, but it doesn't really seem as secure, as you can see. So you'll just have to figure out, what size you need if you do the setup. But I just took some chain. I had different types of chain, and I just kind of hooked it all together. I had like a little like pliers if I had to open up the chain and make it longer. But I'm just attaching chain to so each light fixture has one chain on each end. Going up to the ceiling, there's like these wooden rafters up here, and there's a staple up at the top. So if you don't have, wooden ceilings, it's going to be harder to do this. But I'm just fortunate that there's, wooden beams up there that I can attach this stuff to. But it's not very scientific. I could have probably used more uniform chain. I think I have thin chain on one end here, and then thick on the other. And basically what you want to do is just have your lights on a timer, so that the plant should get between 12 to 16 hours of light per day until you're ready to transplant the seedlings outside. So I generally do 13 to 14 hours of light per day initially, when the seedlings are really just starting out. I mean, I just planted these yesterday. And what you would want to do is have your lights really close to the covering, and I'll show you in a minute what the covering looks like. It's just a plastic dome covering, so you won't even need to water them if you use this system. But You want to have the lights really close to your seeds, and the reason for that is as the plant grows, if the plant is looking for more light, the seedling will get really leggy, meaning like it will just get really tall and skinny, and it won't develop its first set of leaves until further up along the stem. So you really want to have sturdy stems, strong roots, and you want to have your first set of leaves, developing closer to the base of the stem. So you really want to have your light pretty close to your seeds. And then as the seedling grows, you gradually increase the distance of the light from the seedling. So you would be raising these up slowly over time. And I'll show you that every week as I raise these lights. So you can see there's just an S hook on the end, so I can adjust the light up. I'm sorry if I'm not doing a good job explaining how this works, but if anybody has questions, please feel free to contact me at newjerseygarden@gmail.com, or in this post you can comment below. But this is just a really simple setup, and I'm just going to pause the video now so I can show you the covers for these trays as well as the seed starting mix.